The year is 2019, and it's just began because on January 9th, True Art was created. And today, we're going to see if we can do him justice. But first things first, hello everybody and welcome. I am Bricker Boom, and today, we're going to see if we can beat the game Pokemon HeartGold with only a Furret. Adorable walking animations aside, Furret has a pretty decent speed, passable HP and attack, but from there everything starts to go downhill. It's certainly not the worst Pokemon we've used, but by far it's not the best. The only thing Furret has as an advantage is what most normal types have, and that's a ridiculously amazing arsenal of attacks it can learn. While its special may not be the best, super effective damage can make or break a battle for us. With that being said, I suppose it doesn't really matter what the rival picks, especially given the fact that he doesn't become a primary threat like the rival in the first generation of Pokemon games. So from there, we're off to go ahead and do some beginning game stuff, and we want to make sure to level up along the way. While battling the rival the first time isn't a difficult battle, we do want to make sure that we get as much experience points early on, because we know it's probably going to be a slog later. With our starter, we name him Tube Sock because he's just a little wiggly noodle, and now I realize I should have named him Noodle. He does have the runaway ability, which means as long as it isn't a trainer battle, we can run away. I was kind of hoping for Keen Eye to make Sand Attack useless, but it's fine. We have a timid nature, and that raises our speed, but lowers our attack. With the beginning game, we spend some time leveling up on Wild Mons between Mr. Pokemon's house and getting back to Professor Elm. The rival has Cyndaquil, and we face him on the way back. Overall, we are still a fully evolved Pokemon, so for now, we're able to take down the rival without too much trouble. As the game progresses and he gets tankier mons, I'm sure that'll change, but for now, we'll roll with it. After we drop off the egg, the game can officially begin as we make our way to Bellsprout Tower. We take our time going through the tower to get as much EXP as we can before we go to fight Falkner. Falkner likes to use Sand Attack and Mud Slap strats, so we want to be able to take out the Mons as quickly as I can. Falkner first sends out Pidgey, and we open up with Quick Attack to take it to yellow. And would you pick up the phone? Because I called it. And we get Sand Attacked, but thankfully push past that to take it down. With the Pidgeotto, we Quick Attack it, then get hit with Tackle for a decent chunk of damage thanks to a crit, before Falkner switches to Gust as we Quick Attack again. We take the Pidgeotto to red, get hit with Gust, and then miss, getting hit with the soft Tackle before we connect on our next turn, and take it down for a first try victory. I'll be honest, I was a bit worried going into the battle, mostly due to Sand Attack. We've had plenty of attempts lost from getting Sand Attacked into oblivion. After that, we can go ahead and go into Azalea Town, and along the way, we get rid of Foresight. Don't worry, that'll come into play later. The journey there honestly takes a while because we get caught by a few hikers, and taking out the Rock-type Pokemon can take minutes at a time, even with the speed-up option on. Once we get to Goldenrod and can learn some different moves via TM, I think we'll be in better shape. But for now, let's visit Proton at the bottom of the well. Proton first sends out Zubat, and we can take it out pretty easily, thanks to a 3-shot with Fury Swipes. Next is Coughing, and we miss Fury Swipes and get punished for it by being poisoned. We swap to Quick Attack since it's more accurate, and between the poison damage and it occasionally hitting Smog, we find ourselves getting drained fast. Thankfully, with just 8 HP to spare, we do land a final Quick Attack, and that wins us the battle. We can go ahead and go to Bugsy, and this battle can go one of two ways. If my prior runs are any indicator, there's a good chance it's going to be rough, but only one way to find out. We open with a Quick Attack for pretty poor damage as Scyther uses Focus Energy. We swap to Fury Swipes as Scyther hits Leer, and then the Scyther hits for decent damage with Quick Attack as we return the favor. We managed to knock it below half, but the berry procs, and with our remaining swipes, we put it right back to half HP. A Quick Attack does a good deal, and then from there, we get taken down, and that was our best attempt. So with what little options I have, we go to try to rival fight. And this is where I realized I had messed up. We can't hit him because of the Ghastly. I'll be honest, I had almost considered restarting, because there's just not much we're able to do, but after doing some research, I realized that while it won't be very effective, U-turn is a move that can hit Ghastly, so we do the only thing that's available for us at our level. We level up. At level 21 we try, and now, partly due to Bugsy not setting up Focus Energy, It doesn't do as much damage, and he swaps to Metapod. Metapod honestly can't do much except for 2 HP of damage and tackle every time, and he misses the first, so even with Bugsy potioning up, we're able to take down the Metapod without too much issue. After the Metapod is down, we can ping Scyther for additional damage before U-turns again and goes into Kakuna. Just like with Metapod, there isn't much Kakuna can do except Poison Sting, which only does 1 HP, and thankfully doesn't poison us, as we take it to half. The next turn, we land a critical hit to take it down without too much trouble, and that brings us back to Scyther. A critical hit quick attack takes the Scyther to red as he uses Focus Energy, and since the potion was used earlier on the Metapod, we can land one more quick attack to take it down and win the battle. Now that Bugsy has been beaten, we're able to learn U-turn, and that'll be the move that lets us move on. With the rival, he first sends out Ghastly and we begin using U-turn. He does use Mean Look, and then from there, continues to use Spite until it goes down. Next up is Quilava, who we can quick attack to yellow and get hit with Ember for a decent chunk before taking it out next turn. Zubat is last, goes to yellow, misses its supersonic, and then goes down to win us the rival fight and let us move on to greener pastures. At this point of the game, we're actually pretty close to the game opening up as a whole, but the biggest part of that now is that we're going to have access to pretty good TMs. More often than not, you can't go wrong with Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, or Flamethrower, and technically I can grab them multiple times if needed, but for what I think we'll need to do, we should be fine with Thunderbolt for a while. I still don't want to teach Tube Sock anything that we can't get rid of, like an HM, so you'll notice if I'm being a little stingy about move slots, that's the reason why. However, we can go ahead and make our way through Whitney's gym and then try to take her on as well. With the Clefairy, we open up with U-turn, and it does a decent chunk of health, but Clefairy sets up Solar Beam. Despite Infatuation, we land another attack and take it to red, as Solar Beam does very little. Clefairy gets healed up, and we spend 2 turns Infatuated, and we thankfully only get hit with a double slap during that time. Next turn, we land a soft quick attack, and the Clefairy gets recovered. Then, the Clefairy uses Metronome and takes itself out due to Healing Wish, and that only leaves us with Miltank. When the Miltank is out, that's when things begin to go downhill. We can do little damage with U-turn over and over, but when the Miltank gets to yellow, it begins using Milk Drag to heal back up. Despite our best efforts, Stomp is able to take us down not too long after. It does take a long line of attempts between here and where we eventually end up. Whitney in a solo challenge can be an absolute monster, and it's not even the Stomps that get you. It's the Infatuation and Milk Drink combo that leaves us losing multiple times. We eventually get to level 28, and it's time to try again with some slightly better stats. Clefairy goes to half with Thunderbolt and uses Metronome, which only results in withdrawal. Another Thunderbolt thankfully does the job. Next up is Miltank, and we use a Thunderbolt that does about a quarter. Stomp isn't hurting too badly anymore, and the next turn we can take it below half with another Thunderbolt. This time when Milk Drink brings it to green, we can take it below half as Whitney uses Stomp, and that allows us to take it out and finally move on. Going to Ekritique and into the tower, it's time to take the rival on once more as he sends out Ghastly. We start with Thunderbolt, and that takes it down with one shot. Magnemite is next, and we use Thunderbolt, and that paralyzes it. It uses Thunder Wave to return the favor before we take it out next turn. Quilava's up, and it uses Ember as we fire back with Thunderbolt twice to take it to red, then finish it off with Quick Attack. Zubat is last and misses Supersonic, and with that, we can take it down with one last Thunderbolt to win the battle and keep on keeping on. While we release the Hounds, this is a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content. This is one of the few videos I've gotten to do after someone requested it in the comments, and if you have ideas or want me to do other runs, make sure to leave it below. I want to keep making content like this, and with that, it's time to fight Morty. Morty first sends out Ghastly, and we open up a Thunderbolt, and it takes us down in one shot, so we avoid one Curse user. Haunter is next, and we use Thunderbolt again to take it to yellow as it puts us to sleep. We stay asleep as Haunter uses Dream Eater. We wake it up the next turn, and then can take it out with another attack. Last up is Gengar, and we use Thunderbolt as the Gengar uses Mean Look. We're not going anywhere, so that's fine. We take the Gengar to red, and it gets healed out of the healing range with the berry, and it misses Hypnosis. We take it to probably 1 HP, and then Morty heals up. We take a few turns to ping it back to yellow. It misses Hypnosis again, hits a very weak Sucker Punch, and then goes down. One more Haunter to go, and we use Thunderbolt to take it to yellow, and it also uses Mean Look before we take it out to win the battle and the badge. Now that we're halfway through at least the first portion of the badge journey, I like to take stock of where we are in the run and how we're doing, and honestly, Furret is doing better than I thought it was going to. The amount of moves it has access to, because it's a normal type, make it a lot more viable than it normally would be. The worst of the battles is up ahead, but after we make it past the Elite Four, we should be able to sweep through Kanto pretty easily. I don't know if we'll get past Red, but we'll see what happens. I actually ended up thinking about this on the drive home yesterday because, that's what you do when you listen to podcasts, right? Anyway, we clear out the lighthouse and then it's time to head to fight Chuck. Chuck sends out Primeape and we open up with Thunderbolt to take it to almost half as it double teams. We quick attack to make it miss Focus Punch and then we can finish it off with Thunderbolt and level up. Poliwrath is next and we Thunderbolt it to almost half and then Thunderbolt it again to red. It uses Surf, and we use Quick Attack to keep it out of healing range as Surf knocks us to 9 HP. Because of that, though, we can use one more Thunderbolt and win the battle. This did take a couple attempts because of Poliwrath being healed up and us missing the damage ranges, but that's fine. After a quick trek back to Olivine, and we go to fight Jasmine, and we don't even make it past the Magnemite. We get paralyzed and some weird numbers pop up on screen, who knows what that is, and then from there we get taken down pretty easily with multiple Thunderbolts. Given how quickly that goes, and partly because I wasn't thinking of using Flamethrower, we go ahead and head off to the Lake of Rage, knock out some more Rocket Plotline, and then from there we can go ahead and face off against Price. Price first sends out Seal, and we use Thunderbolt to take it to yellow as it uses Icy Wind. Price heals up, and we can take it to red, then quick attack it down. Piloswine is next, and we use Shadow Claw before Blizzard connects. We use Sucker Punch and it crits, but we're getting worn down quickly by Blizzard, and we can take it to yellow, but we ultimately end up going down. With that being the case, I figure it's time to head back to Olivine and try again with the few extra levels we have, and this is when I finally remember that we have Flamethrower, so we head back to square off against Jasmine again. The first Magnemite goes down to Flamethrower, and that's already a better start. The next Magnemite also goes down to Flamethrower, and that leaves us with Steelix. We use Flamethrower to take it to yellow, burn it, and the berry heals it out of range. It misses Screech, gets damaged by the burn, and then goes down to get us another badge. We probably could have done this before the rocket stuff, but it's fine. At least we weren't roadblocked and we did get something done, so let's head back to Price. Seal goes to red with Thunderbolt and opens with Icy Wind. Price heals up, but we use Thunderbolt, and that takes it back to red. Then we finish it off with Quick Attack. Piloswine is next, and we swap over to Flamethrower, and it goes to half, and the berry heals it back to green. Blizzard takes us all the way down to 39 HP from a crit, and then we get a crit on Flamethrower to take down the Piloswine. Dugong is last, so we use Thunderbolt, take it below half, and take it to 9 HP with Ice Beam. Then Icy Shard knocks us out. The next battle basically starts the same with Seal especially. It's basically a formulaic thing by now. Piloswine is next, so we use Flamethrower again, but this time Blizzard hits us. We don't get a critical hit, but still have a good chunk of HP when we take it down the next turn. Last up is Dugong, and we can take it out with a single critical hit. Okay, sure, whatever. With all that taken care of, we can go ahead and take care of the rest of the Rocket plotline. There isn't anything super dramatic to cover for this portion of the game, so to keep things at a decent pace, we're going to go ahead and move on with the video to where we go and fight Claire. Because for once, partly due to our move pool, Archer isn't that much of a challenge, and neither is really the rival at any point. So, with Claire, Gyarados is first, so we can take it to red with Thunderbolt as we get hit with Dragon Rage. Claire heals up, we take it to red and then paralyze it, then knock it out with Thunderbolt. Ice Beam can take Dragonair to yellow as it Thunder Waves us, hits us with Dragon Breath, then goes down. Next up is Kingdra, who Hydro Pumps us and takes us out in one shot. Okay, so we need to do a couple things that have to be done for us to even get past this particular battle. First, we equip a berry that will heal paralysis, and secondly, we need a couple levels to be able to get past it as well. At level 55, we could take Gyarados down with one shot with Thunderbolt. Dragonair, we use Ice Beam as it goes down to a single shot as well. Next up is Kingdra, and we do about a quarter health with Ice Beam as it misses Hydro Pump. We take it to half, the berry heals up, and we get hit with a smoke screen before taking it to about a quarter with Thunderbolt. It misses another Hydro Pump before Thunderbolt takes it down. The last Dragonair is out, and we use Ice Beam to take it to red as it uses Thunder Wave, and the berry heals us. Claire heals up, and we use Quick Attack. We miss Ice Beam, then get hit with another Thunder Wave, then Dragon Pulse. We stay paralyzed twice and get taken down to 55 HP before finally pushing past all of this, Ice Beaming it, and winning the battle. Now, with the Elite Four, I feel pretty good about our chances overall, given the fact that Furret can learn so many different moves, provided you have the TMs, which most of them can be gotten from the game corner. We have super effective options. The Delivery Man gives you a plethora of items, berries, etc. whenever you save money with your mom, so that likely won't be an issue. But first, we have to get through the rival fight towards the end of the cave. The rival first sends out Sneasel, and it opens up with Icy Wind as we open with Hyper Voice to take it to red. The next move, we use Thunderbolt and take it out. Golbat is next, and we use Thunderbolt again to one-shot it. Next is Typhlosion, and we use Hyper Voice as we get hit with Lava Plume, but not burnt, so we can take it out next turn. Kadabra goes down to a single Shadow Claw, and then it's Magneton. Magneton goes to about half with Hyper Voice and paralyzes us, then hits with Spark before going down. Last up is Haunter, and it uses Curse as we use Shadow Claw to take it out to win the battle, and that's that. Now, with that being out of the way, I did want to double check with all of you. Do you prefer just seeing the top portion of the screen with this particular game, or would you want to see both the top and the bottom to see what choices I'm making as they happen? And now, it's time to fight the Elite Four. Will is first, and he sends out Xatu, and we can take it down with a single Thunderbolt. Next up is Jinx, and we swap to Shadow Claw to knock it out in one blow. Executor is next. We can swap over to Ice Beam and take it to red as it sets up Reflect. Will heals up, and we continue to Ice Beam, this time taking it out in a single shot. Slowbro goes to yellow with Thunderbolt and only sets up a Curse before going down to another Thunderbolt. Last is another Xatu, and we hit it with Thunderbolt, taking it to red as it confuses us, and the berry heals up. We push past the confusion and shock it to take it down as well. Pretty easy peasy. Next up is Koga, and he sends out Ariados as we open a Flamethrower to take it out in one shot. Poor Forretress is 4 times weak to fire, but spends the first turn protecting, so we miss. Then we can take it out next turn. Next is Muck, and we can use Flamethrower to do about a quarter damage as Toxic misses. We swap over to Hyper Voice and take it to yellow as it uses Screech before another Hyper Voice takes it out. Crobat is up, and then Crobat is down to a quarter HP before the berry activates. Crobat double teams, and then we can go ahead and take it out. Last but not least is Venomoth, a Pokemon I did a solo run in this game for, so I feel very fondly about it, but it also goes down to a single Flamethrower. Next up is Bruno, and I'll be honest, we have to try this about a dozen times. Sometimes Hitmontop opens with Counter and knocks us out in one shot, and then other times it just uses Dig, and then Machamp knocks us out with Cross Chop. But we open with Ice Beam, and because of that counter missing, we swap to Return and knock it out. Hitmonlee goes down to a single Return, and then Machamp goes below half. This time Cross Chop doesn't crit, and we can take it down with one more Return. The Onix goes down to a single Ice Beam, and then last is Hitmonchan, and we can knock it to red as it uses Fire Punch. There is some back and forth with him healing and us using Return, but we get a high roll on the damage and knock it out before it can Mach Punch us into oblivion. Fourth is Karen, and this shouldn't be too much of an issue as we take Umbreon to half. It double teams, and then we can take it down next turn. Gengar is next, and we crit with Shadow Claw to knock it out. Swapping to Return, we take it to red as the berry activates, and it uses Nasty Plot, allowing us to then take it out. With Vileplume, we take it to red with Ice Beam as it paralyzes us, and Karen heals as we continue with Ice Beam, freeze it, then take it down next turn. Last up is Murkrow, and it uses Pluck for a few points of damage before going down to Thunderbolt. Lance is last and uses Gyarados, which we can take out with Thunderbolt. Dragonite is next. It goes to red with an Ice Beam as the berry takes it from healing range. Outrage does a lot of damage, but then it goes down as well. Next up is another Dragonite, but this one isn't quite as tanky as the last and goes down to a single Ice Beam. The final Dragonite is out and also goes down to a single shot. Then we have Charizard, and we Thunderbolt it to about half, paralyze it, and it uses Air Slash before we take it out. Last but not least is Aerodactyl, and Ice Beam takes it to yellow as it uses Aerial Ace and knocks us out with a crit. The first half of the battle goes essentially the same every single time, except this time when we Ice Beam the Dragonite, It only uses Safeguard, so we can take it out without missing any health. The next two Dragonite go down to a single Ice Beam each, and then Charizard we don't paralyze. It uses Air Slash, then we can take it out with a critical hit Thunderbolt. Last up is Aerodactyl. As we Ice Beam it, it uses Rock Slide to take us well below half before it also goes down as well. Now with Kanto, that's where we run into issues. Not with the gym leaders per se, but with one particular gym leader alone, Misty. For whatever reason, and I cannot figure out for the life of me, Misty will not return to the gym even after doing the power plant stuff. I waited a day, and she returned, and without battle, gave me the TM for beating her, and then it showed in my inventory that I had the badge. But it wouldn't recognize it when I spoke to Blue. So without any other option, we restart, name our Furret Noodle, it has a calm nature and the keen eye ability, and we hustle our way through the rest of the game as best as we can. I wasn't planning on essentially playing this game twice, but I did get the ability I wanted, so I guess not all is lost. The second playthrough, everything goes off without a hitch, and that leads us to Blue. With Blue, he sends out Executor first, and we hit it with Ice Beam to Yellow as it misses Hypnosis. Blue heals up, and we take it back to Yellow with Ice Beam, then knock it out with Flamethrower. When Machamp comes out, we hit it below half with Return, and it takes us to 39 HP before we smack ourselves, and then he knocks us out. This takes a while, and it takes us all the way to level 90, and at that level we can knock the eggs to red as Hypnosis misses. Blue heals up, then two Flamethrowers take it down. With Machamp, we can take it to red with Return as it hits us with Dynamic Punch, and the berry heals our confusion as we knock it out with Return. When Arcanine comes out, we can take it to half, it roars and misses. We knock it to red, and it roars again and brings out our Cut Pokemon. We swap back and get hit with Extreme Speed before taking it down. Rhydon is next, so we Ice Beam it to take it down in one shot. Next is Gyarados, and we swap to Thunderbolt to take it down. And then last is Pidgeot, and we can Thunderbolt it to low red, paralyze it, the berry heals it, and we get knocked to 17 HP before we finish it off. Normally, I'd restart when a Mon gets drug out, but since this caused me a detriment, I didn't think that you would mind, especially since I was still able to win. As we do some travel, we end up facing red, and let's be honest, it isn't even close. Let's look at our attempt at level 100. At level 100, we have Leftovers and Double Team equipped, and when Pikachu comes out, we start with multiple Double Teams, and thankfully, Pikachu misses Volt Tackle, and Leftovers keep us healthy. After that, we can knock it out with Return. Next up is Blastoise, and we can take it to about half with Thunderbolt as it hits us with Blizzard. We can take it to red next turn. It misses, and the hail damage takes it out. Venusaur is up next, so we switch to Blizzard, taking it to nearly half as it misses Sleep Powder. Another Blizzard takes it out. Next up is Charizard, and we swap to Thunderbolt, and that takes it to half as Flare Blitz hits hard. Another Thunderbolt takes it out, and next is Lapras, and Lapras goes to not even half as we get hit with Blizzard and end the attempt. I tried this battle about 200 times. I messed with save states, Leftovers, Bright Powder, Double Team, and unfortunately, we can't take enough hits to be able to finish off the Lapras. Even if we did manage to get the Lapras taken out, we'd still have to deal with Snorlax. At the end of the day, Furret made it so much further than what I thought it was going to, so I'm actually pretty happy with this attempt, even if I didn't beat Red. Honestly, I'm considering doing a run soon where I take a couple of the Pokemon that we couldn't finish a challenge with, just to see how easy hard it would be. But for now, I gotta get to work on these Christmas runs I had planned, so, as always, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.